Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Speak, Film, and Enter, a podcast where we review and rank movies. I'm Nate.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome to day 6 of the 12 Days of Christmas with the Speak, Film, and Enter podcast. This is specifically for our YouTube audience, so if you want to check these out, you can only do this through video on YouTube. Special thank you to everybody who subscribed and checked us out in our first year on YouTube this year. And today, we are going to be talking about Elf, one of our favorites from the holiday season. And if this is the first time you've joined us for one of our 12 Days of Christmas episodes, these are not meant to be any type of definitive list or ranking of best of Christmas movies or anything like that. We just chose 12 movies and specials that we wanted to watch this holiday season and spend 10 to 15 minutes talking about each one and what we love about them. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about Elf, which I think we're going to let Adam kick things off here because it looks like he's a huge fan.
So actually, as you can see by my wonderful Will Farrell Elf cutout behind me, I was not originally on the Elf train of Elf being the end-all, be-all millennial Christmas movie that its status that it holds now with our generation and with people in general. I'm not really a huge Will Farrell fan. I think I've said this probably early on in the podcast a couple years ago.
So what you're saying is you were a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
I was a cotton-headed ninny muggins for sure. Yeah. I have since come around to a couple more of Will Ferrell's movies and some of those things, but this is really credit, and this belongs to my girlfriend. This is a huge credit to her. This is her favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, high praise. So I had to, give it a couple chances and go back and rewatch it. So we rewatch it every year. So I've now seen it, a handful of times. It's always funnier than the next time around. Like it's long enough of a time frame to just forget about some of the nuance and stuff. And how much Will Farrell actually brings to this role. Now, the only detraction I'll still say is I think they could have, and this cutout's a little bit different, but I think they could have made this green bit just a little bit lower, because throughout the entire movie, you're just looking at Will Farrell's junk, and it's just a little bit like, it's a little off-putting for me.
Well, that was on purpose to make him look even more ridiculous.
Exactly.
Add to the, can you please take that off?
Yeah, can you please just get it out?
Which then, ironically, when he finally does, it's in front of, yeah.
I
should say I'm also kind of hit and miss on Will Farrell, but I love this movie. It's definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies. I love the whole beginning, the little bum 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 bum, that music at the beginning is great. I love how they just basically plucked the North Pole straight out of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yep.
Down to the costumes and the look and everything, like the snowman's there. And Ed Asner as Santa Claus even looks like
wonderful
Papa from Rudolph. Mm-hmm. So I really like that they did that. And then just watching James Caan have to act like a regular person around Will Farrell while Will Farrell is trying to hug him and hold his hand
and just be such a huge
is just there aren't that many times when I'm watching a movie when I think acting this scene seems like it would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Because I normally just don't think about it. That's not to say that acting's not hard or anything, but I'm never there's an element of this movie that it kind of draws me out of it, but in kind of a good way.
Yeah. You start thinking about the extra stuff.
When they're leaving jail, when he goes and picks him up there and he's trying to hold his hand. And in my mind, I'm just James Caan is performing his role as expected with this guy next to him.
Man-child, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the point of the scene, but it just works so well as this mismatched pair. And the cast of this movie is just so good.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, especially the scenes at the office and stuff, James Caan, how was there any contentiousness between the two actors during this movie? Because this could not have been an easy thing to make. And Will Farrell, his movies are known for just doing scenes. It's comedy. Most comedies do this where they just do scenes over and over until they get a good joke and they're just vamping and they're just spitballing as it happens to see what really hits and how many times did they break character. Was James Caan just are you kidding me? Can we just do it right?
Yeah, I
Wonderful.
should say, as much as I love James Caan, I think my favorite moments of this, I love everything that happens at Gimbel's, and the manager there is
Yes.
fantastic, and
Yes.
Zooey Deschanel is great. And also the scene in the mailroom where he gets drunk with that guy who also, I never noticed this before, says he's 26 and he's clearly like 45.
Yeah, he's so
Just
old.
great, great joke. And then when they cut back and they're like singing and he's dancing on the table, that's just amazing. I love the little things that they kind of added that, like, yeah, he's a human, but because he was with elves, he got really good at this like weirdly specific stuff.
Yeah.
Like the dancing and like throwing snowballs really fast. It does bother me that he's not better at skating. I feel like he should be amazing at it, but whatever. Yeah. It doesn't like ruin it for me or anything, but it is one moment where I was kind of like, he should be like Blades of Glory out there.
Yeah, right. I a lot of Will Ferrell's movies become endlessly quotable, whether they mean to be or not. But like, I still say like, "Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad." Like all the time, like all that stuff. Just it's just around. It's this movie is so great in that regard. And
yeah, honestly, for me, I think one of the lines from this I use the most is just, "I'll call you in 5 minutes." Because it just fits so many situations, and it isn't one of the lines that you'd think from this movie that would stick with you. Yeah. But the genuine, like he's gonna call him in 5 minutes. That is absolutely genuine from Buddy there, and you can just again see James Caan was just like, "Do not fucking call me in 5 minutes."
Right,
like,
right.
The
other part of that, oh god, I just had it. Is when my favorite part, because I know we'll get to this, but my favorite part in the entire movie is when he goes to the doctor to see, like, they do the paternity test.
And Favreau, who directed this, by the way,
right? And he's eating the cotton balls, but like
the little magic trick.
He was kind of like, stop doing that. And he's like, whoop, and then pulls it out behind his ear, and it's like, oh. Like the whole demeanor and like over here, all of that is perfect, and it's so funny, and it's just like you cannot, like, that was just pure chemistry there. They had to be like they got that and they nailed that. That's my favorite part. Is
there are just so many wonderful moments of this movie. I will say I think they definitely could have done without the whole like Peter Dinklage gag. Yeah, I think that hasn't aged particularly well. I don't think it's like horrible, but it is just kind of a moment that I feel like, can we just move past this?
We just move past it. I do love the joke they have about that, though. Like one of the jokes, the joke they have where they introduce that they're gonna get this new like writer guy, and James Caan is like, "So you're my 2 head writers. Your idea is to bring in another writer." It's like, what do I pay you for? Like, I think that's funny. No, absolutely. It's like
the whole bit about having Peter Dinklage do it so that they could do like he's an elf thing just feels like really unnecessary and a little cheap to me in a movie that's way more clever than that generally, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, that is a great line. He's like, "You're telling me you want to hire a new writer?"
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So good.
Well, and it's Andy Richter and then Kyle Gass. And Kyle Gass is the other. I didn't remember this or know this until I basically looked it up when we were watching this again. Kyle Gass is the other half of Tenacious D with Jack Black. And I was like, no way.
Forgot about that.
Like, this is one of his only movie roles. And I had no idea. And I was like, why does he look so familiar?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even really talked about like Bob Newhart's in this movie. Zooey Deschanel's character is really good. I like.
I wish she was in it more.
I do, but the balance is good. There's really nothing outside of the Dinklage thing that I feel like we get too much of.
That's fair.
And the stuff with Michael is good. Like, you know, just like the classic thing of jumping off the couch to try to reach the top of the tree is really great. And what's the name of the woman that plays his wife again? I can't remember.
Mary Steenburgen.
Okay.
She's also the mom in Step Brothers.
Step Brothers, right?
Yeah. She's wonderful. I love her.
Yeah, she's good too. I just think, the cast is good. It's consistently funny all the way through. It fits seasonally so well, and it's really just, I think, the perfect vehicle for Will Farrell.
Yeah, honestly. Like this is one of the movies that made me start liking him. And as much as I was a Grinch about this movie, when it came out, like it warmed me up to the rest of his stuff and the rest of his humor. And like clearly he wrote or performed a lot of this like off the cuff, which makes it obviously more impressive.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
And it makes it more impressive to think like, yeah, people had to get through this scene without laughing.
cracking up. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see like an outtakes of this because
Oh
I
my god.
feel like a lot of bits probably had to take a really long time.
Yeah, or there's like I want to see what they cut out because it was like too raunchy or like didn't fit the vibe. If it was like, maybe like
Right.
too adult or something.
Yeah.
Like I think that was great. Uh
So I was going to bring it to the end. We've kind
yep.
of listed our favorite moment of everything so far. So what is your favorite moment of Elf if you can narrow it down to one?
I will say I know I kind of already spoke about one, the magic and stuff, but I really
Yeah.
like when he stays in Gimbals and does all of the like
Yeah.
decorating, and they get back and he's like, somebody's gunning for my job. The manager's all scared, and he's like, wait, you did this overnight? And he's like, oh yeah, it wasn't that hard. Like it's just I think
Yeah.
all of that's wonderful.
Mhm.
He's like
Yeah,
cutting
I
all
think
the
I do love all the stuff in Gimbals. I do think for me it's the bit in the mailroom though. That just really kills me.
yeah. It's not it's better than it has any right to be, for sure.
Yeah, I
Like
think that's
I
a great way
expected
to
this
describe this movie.
Yeah, it should be too corny to watch. It should be too
Mhm.
like, oh my god, are we really going there? Are we really doing this? And it just nails
Right.
every bit. And again, like the spirit of most of these is the spirit of this movie isn't about like what you see on the surface level, Buddy being a child or a man child. It's all about like the connections you create, why they're important, why family is important, and like what that means to you and what that means as far as Christmas is concerned. I think
Yeah,
it nails it.
absolutely. And we don't have that many. I mean, this still qualifies as like a modern Christmas movie.
Hmm.
And there aren't that many that stick and like stay alive for more than a year or two when they get replaced by the next wave of like 20 of them that come out the next year.
Yep.
So that's another reason I like this one so much. It's kind of one of the few that I feel that like came out and I got to experience when it was new.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we always talk about, like we're listening to the same songs every year on the radio for Christmas
Yep,
time. Like it's time to get some new blood in here, and this is new blood as far as movies are concerned, and it does a fantastic job.
absolutely. So as has become tradition now, Adam, would you like to take us out?
Absolutely. Thank you again. This is episode 6 or day 6 of our 12 Days of Christmas. We thank you so much for watching this season of Speak Film and Enter, and have a happy holidays.